Uh-oh, turns out get woke, go broke was prophecy. Yeah, that appears to be the case for Victoria Alonso. It is somewhat surprising in some amount. Just all of a sudden, she's shown the door, or she left to seek other opportunities or something along those lines. If you want to go with that route, I wouldn't. So Marvel is in a lot of trouble, and when this sort of thing happens, typically certain heads do roll. But in the woke era, a lot of people were constantly failing upwards. But it appears those days, if not already over, is certainly getting there. And that's one of those things. It's like you can look back years from now and say, "Oh, this is when it really dropped off." You know, it becomes more obvious. But this sort of thing, a blatant failure and costing a company like Disney like that, this is inevitable. This was always going to happen. It's just a matter of the time, and that's the key thing here overall. There's going to be a lot of celebration because of the devastation done to the MCU. And Victoria was right out there front, as woke can be. She weaponized her gender, she weaponized her ethnicity, and she weaponized her sexuality. So, wow, she had three boxes to check there, you know, and was just venomous in her approaches to anybody that she was also gleeful in targeting and whatnot in that whole Florida business, where just joined the crowd, blatantly lying about what that legislation said, and cost Disney heavily. So, yeah, get woke, go broke. Meanwhile, the actual Marvel movies and shows have just been awful. You know, Spider-Man was just an aberration. You know, you had this one great moment of a great film, and then the rest of it. You know, I mean, you would think that if you would take it seriously as something along the lines of Doctor Strange and Thor, you make damn sure that's good, because that could have propped you back up after, you know, crappy things like the Eternals. But no. No. And the expense of having to reshoot these things to death, which is probably far more than we know. And the case of Doctor Strange, with the D+ shows begin with WandaVision, which looked intriguing and had some cool moments in it, and then it all just falls flat, and then Kevin Feige steps up to act like it's all him, but I suspect this is more Victoria's philosophy about, you know, hey, you can't have a white man come in and tell a woman what to do. You know, which means he would be explaining sorcery to a woman who has no understanding of it. You know, but can't have that. So that was the original story. Could they replace it with something better? No. And was there ever anything cool for Doctor Strange 2? I don't know. The original director quit angrily. So maybe there was. Yeah. God. And then you follow that up with Thor: Love and Thunder. And so that's the kind of crap that drags it all down, and people just don't show up. So then Ant-Man Quantumania comes along, and just forget it. Yeah. Done. And that doesn't really explain Shazam in total, but the superhero fatigue and Shazam in DC, that's another story. So the superhero fatigue is a real thing here, but what was the champion of the superhero genre? Well, it was the Marvel films. There's been other things. There's been these indie projects. There's been The Boys and stuff like that, which are all the deconstructions of this, which the normie audience is unfamiliar with. Seen plenty of deconstructions through the years, ever since Watchmen on down, you know, so it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. The Boys had some good episodes, though. But nevertheless, that's the deal. But Marvel was king, and then you brought it down. A whole year of crap. You can't do that. You know, a flop here, another flop there, fine. But not all of them, you know. Oh, they made money. Well, did it? You know. So now to follow Ant-Man is the Marvels. Whoops. And that's the thing. Okay, you could cheer Victoria's gone, but it's probably too little too late. This is the woman who said we need to change the name of the X-Men. Because, it's outdated, because there's female characters too. That's stupid, don't understand language or whatever. But nevertheless, that's the deal. That was her mindset and where she was coming from. You go through the trouble to acquire a brand like X-Men, and your first out of the gate idea is to strip its name from it. How's that gonna work? Well, it wasn't. So perhaps there's some hope for the X-Men, maybe even the Fantastic Four. But man, oh man, the damage has been severe. A lot of things are radioactive now. Over at Star Wars, I'm extremely dubious it can be saved, and that's yet similar to DC as a different matter, even though it's under the umbrella of Disney and all that. But there's a lot of reasons for why Star Wars is in worse shape than Marvel. There's some opportunity there for them to do this, but they're going to have to cut back. Definitely, it's going to have to be few and far between of these films and TV shows, because the saturation is a factor, and it's a saturation of crap. So you've lost an audience that may not return. They might want to look at something else. They might want to look at Mario Brothers card, that sort of thing. Who knows? Because you're leaving a void now because you gave them nothing but crap, so it may be too late to right the ship. I mean, Spider-Man and Batman movies, those will still happen. But everything else, this shared universe, which is reflective of the actual story of the comic books, they always lived and existed in these shared universes within the tale. But when you damage it that severely like that, it may never come back once it's gone, So again, I understand people celebrating, but it's probably too little too late. Now, there's more hope for Marvel than most, but that would come in the form of, and this was always the case, I think Guardians of the Galaxy will do well. When they get to Deadpool, that'll do well. Spider-Man will probably do well. But that's not enough to restore everything, especially when it's cluttered with a lot of crap product that they've got sitting in the hopper. And what are you going to do? And how much money can you afford to keep spending reshooting something in the hopes that you can fix it? I mean, a lot of things just got to be outright canceled. Which, that could work in their favor, too, to give this stuff a rest. And you just got to wait till Spider-Man comes out and stuff like that. And then going to have to rethink the charting of your course. If they get X-Men right, if they give them actual X-Men, if you get Fantastic Four right, you might have a little resurgence. But this, the Phase 4 was just devastating to the MCU. And there's no debating that now. So, finally got rid of her, but you waited too long. But again, yeah, it was inevitable because it's so true. Get woke, go broke was prophecy.